Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9 Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Understanding Michael Porter by Joan Magretta is a practical, plain English guide to the core ideas of Michael Porter, one of the most influential thinkers in modern strategy. Rather than treating strategy as a collection of buzzwords, the book clarifies what Porter meant by competitive advantage, industry structure, and the choices that make a company distinct. Magretta, an experienced editor and strategy writer, translates dense academic concepts into a coherent toolkit for managers, entrepreneurs, and students. The focus is not on copying fashionable practices, but on understanding trade-offs, designing a unique value proposition, and building an activity system that competitors cannot easily replicate. The book also corrects common misconceptions, such as equating strategy with operational effectiveness or assuming that growth and profitability automatically go together. With examples drawn from recognizable companies and industries, it helps readers connect theory to real decisions about pricing, positioning, capabilities, and competition. The result is an accessible roadmap to thinking rigorously about how businesses win and sustain performance over time. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, strategy is not operational effectiveness. A central message is the sharp distinction between operational effectiveness and strategy. Operational effectiveness means performing similar activities better than rivals through methods such as lean processes, quality programs, better technology, and faster execution. These improvements matter, but they are widely imitable. When everyone adopts best practices, performance converges and competition becomes a race to the middle where margins erode. Strategy, in Porter's sense, is different. It is about choosing a distinct position and delivering a different mix of value. Magretta emphasizes that confusing efficiency with strategy leads managers to chase benchmarks, copy competitors, and overinvest in initiatives that do not create uniqueness. The book explains why operational improvements are necessary but insufficient, and how relying on them alone creates vulnerability when rivals catch up. It also shows how the language of strategy often gets diluted into slogans, mission statements, or ambitious goals that lack concrete choices. Readers learn to look for the essential question, what unique value will the firm deliver, to which customers, and through what tailored set of activities. That clarity becomes the anchor for decisions about investments, priorities, and what to stop doing. Secondly, competitive advantage comes from a unique value proposition. Magretta highlights Porter's idea that competitive advantage begins with a clear value proposition, a specific promise to a defined set of customers that differs from alternatives. This is not about being all things to all people. It is about selecting a particular kind of value such as superior service, lower total cost, distinctive features, or a focused solution for a niche. The book explains how positioning choices show up in 3 broad ways: serving few needs of many customers, serving broad needs of a few customers, or serving broad needs of many customers in a narrow segment. Each path requires commitment and implies limits. The discussion pushes readers to move beyond generic claims like best quality or great customer experience and instead specify what the company will do differently and why customers should care. Importantly, the value proposition must be economically sound. It should align with willingness to pay, the cost structure required to deliver the promise, and the competitive landscape. Magretta also underscores that a value proposition is not a marketing tagline. It is a strategic choice that drives the design of activities, capabilities, and trade-offs. When articulated well, it becomes a practical filter for evaluating new products, channels, partnerships, and expansion opportunities. Thirdly, trade-offs protect strategy and force real choices. Trade-offs are presented as one of the most misunderstood but essential elements of Porter's framework. A strategy becomes credible only when it includes decisions about what not to do. Without trade-offs, a company can drift into trying to match every competitor feature, serve every segment, and accept conflicting demands, which usually raises costs and blurs differentiation. Magretta explains that trade-offs arise because of inconsistencies in image or reputation, differences in activity configurations, and limits on internal coordination. For example, a company positioned for premium service may damage its brand and operations if it also pursues deep discounting. Similarly, a firm optimized for high variety may not be able to match the efficiency of a low-variety producer. The book makes the case that saying no is not a loss of opportunity, but a way to preserve the integrity of the chosen position. Trade-offs also act as barriers to imitation. Rivals can copy individual practices, but copying a full set of choices means accepting the same constraints. For leaders, the practical implication is to treat trade-offs as strategic guardrails. They help prioritize investments, reduce complexity, and prevent incremental decisions from quietly undermining the original advantage. Fourthly, fit among activities is the engine of sustainable advantage. Beyond positioning, the book stresses Porter's idea that sustainable advantage comes from fit, the way a company's activities reinforce one another. Instead of viewing a business as a set of independent functions, Magretta encourages readers to see an interconnected activity system. When activities align with the value proposition and with each other, the whole becomes stronger than the parts. Fit can occur through simple consistency, mutual reinforcement, or optimization of effort across activities. This system's view explains why copying a competitor is harder than it looks. Rivals may imitate a visible practice, but if they do not replicate the underlying system and its trade-offs, the copied element will not produce the same results. The book also links fit to managerial discipline. Strategy requires designing, coordinating, and improving the system as a whole, not chasing isolated initiatives. For readers, the concept becomes actionable by mapping key activities and checking whether they support the chosen position, whether any activity sends a contradictory signal, and where linkages could be strengthened. This approach helps diagnose why performance may be slipping, why complexity is rising, or why a promising new offering fails to scale. Fit turns strategy into an operational reality without collapsing strategy into mere execution. Lastly, understanding industry competition with the 5 forces, Magretta explains the 5 forces framework as a way to analyze the underlying drivers of profitability in an industry, not simply the intensity of rivalry. The forces include the bargaining power of buyers, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, and rivalry among existing competitors. Together, they shape the average profitability of the industry and the constraints any company faces. The book clarifies common errors, such as treating the model as a checklist or using it only to justify why an industry is unattractive. Instead, the real value is in diagnosing where value is created and captured, how power is distributed, and which forces can be influenced through strategic choices. For instance, companies can reduce buyer power by differentiating, raising switching costs, or targeting segments with different priorities. They can mitigate entry threats by building scale advantages, brand strength, or specialized capabilities that take time to develop. The 5 forces also connect directly to positioning. A strong strategy is one that performs well given the industry structure, or one that changes the structure in the firm's favor. Readers gain a disciplined way to separate temporary market noise from enduring competitive economics. In conclusion, this book is best for managers, founders, product and marketing leaders, consultants, MBA candidates, and anyone who hears the word strategy daily but wants a sharper definition and a more reliable way to make decisions. Readers benefit because Magretta turns Porter's ideas into practical mental models that reduce confusion and prevent costly detours. You learn how to tell whether a plan is truly strategic or merely a bundle of goals, how to choose a position that can be defended, and how to align capabilities, processes, and organizational choices around a coherent value proposition. That clarity can improve everyday work, from setting priorities and pricing to deciding which customers to pursue and which opportunities to decline. The book is worth buying compared to many strategy titles because it is disciplined and foundational. Instead of offering trendy frameworks that age quickly, it explains concepts that have endured across industries and cycles. It also corrects popular misunderstandings, especially the habit of equating efficiency or growth with strategy. By focusing on trade-offs, fit, and industry economics, it gives readers a durable toolkit for building competitive advantage and sustaining performance over time. If you would like to support Joan Magretta, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.